In downtown Toronto, there is a currency, a dollar that's being minted, actually at the mint. It's called the Toronto dollar, and it's a community currency. With me today is the president of the Toronto Dollar. I'm Frank Touby, editor of the Bulletin, Toronto's downtown community newspaper, and Glen Allen is the president.
Nice to be here.
Welcome.
Thanks.
How did you get involved with the dollar? Because you're a musician.
Yeah, well, generally musicians are usually involved in the community. We're artists, and I've always been very, very active as an activist, environmentalist. I write music, but I'm also really concerned about the world that I live in, so I've always done stuff.
How then does the Toronto dollar impact this?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you how I met, how I started, because that's an interesting story. A lot of people probably have found out about the Toronto dollar this way. I was down at the St. Lawrence Market.
Yes.
And I saw a booth there. And Joy Kagawa was there at the booth. And Joy said to me, I saw a sign and it said community currency or something. You know, Toronto dollar, buy your Toronto dollars. And I think I'd walked by the booth a number of times. I'd been going to the market, other markets too, but that day I saw it. And I realized, community currency, what a neat idea. So I went up to Joy, and she was, she encouraged me to get involved. She said, we're going through a bit of a difficult time, and we need some more volunteers. And after we had talked a little bit, you seem like you have a lot of energy. And at the time, I said, "I'm sorry, Joy, I'm too busy, and I can't get involved. But I appreciate you, asking me, and I'll keep it in mind, and I'll try and use my Toronto dollars." Well, I kind of ate my words, because the more and more I found out about community currency, I started to realize that it wasn't just about money, it was a movement. It was a movement to support local businesses, to revitalize the economy, and I thought, I want to help with that, and that was why I got involved.
Okay. Joy Kagawa is a very famous author.
Yep.
And she started this with money that her father left her for the purpose of doing good.
Yeah.
And Joy, this currency started as the St. Lawrence dollar.
Yes.
And then it metamorphosed into the Toronto dollar.
Yeah. And advice from Mel Lastman, in fact, that
Indeed.
he advised us to call it the Toronto dollar, which was good advice.
Let us hope so. As the St. Lawrence dollar, it did gain some acceptance.
Yeah.
As the Toronto dollar, it's been a bit tougher because it's, of course, a bigger city, but I understand the tentacles are spreading.
Yeah.
And everybody goes to St. Lawrence Market, so that everybody is exposed to Toronto dollar.
Yeah. Well, not everybody goes to the market, but there is a lot of people. Okay. I think also Toronto dollar has had ups and downs through its 12-year history. And, for example, when I came, that was 2009, just the last half of that. And so I kind of attended board meetings, and there was a discussion about a card. That was a hope that it would revitalize the Toronto dollar if we went to a card system. But it became apparent to me that the real problem with the Toronto dollar was the relationship with the merchants. It was that there was a bit of a disconnect between the actual board and the merchants. There wasn't a lot of conversation going on, and it was a fault of no one really, because it's a volunteer organization and you only have so much time in the day, but you do need to get on the ground and talk to the merchants. So it took me about 6 months to kind of figure things out, but then I started talking to the merchants. I got more involved, became the volunteer coordinator, then later the vice president. Then in 2010 became the executive director, and one of my things as executive director was to restructure the Toronto dollar in a way that we were more effective. I believe I achieved that in 2010 because the sales were actually increased 300% that year.
Now, when you say sales, the paradigm for the Toronto dollar is somewhat different than many other community currencies.
Very true. And we should explain the Toronto dollar for people. So community currencies evolve out of a way to support the local community. It's a grassroots movement generally. There's some different models of the Toronto dollar, and maybe we should, different models of community currency rather. And we could talk a little bit about those. We've got a Calgary dollar here. People probably haven't heard of the Calgary dollar, but we have some Calgary dollars here. And that's a community currency out in Calgary. It's funded by United Way. They have a number of staff, so they have some consistent funding. Toronto dollar, the way that it happens is it's kind of a hybrid. Some currencies are issued and some are bought. And the Toronto dollar is bought dollar for dollar with a Canadian dollar. So it's not really a true community currency because we're not actually issuing the currency. It's actually backed by the Canadian dollar. So it's a little bit of a hybrid. But the good thing about it is if you ever want your Canadian dollars back, you can get them.
Uh-huh.
So there's a little bit of a safety there.
Right.
If there are some people like, what the heck is this? I'm not so sure I want to, try that.
Now, if a consumer comes in
Yeah.
and buys a Canadian dollar for dollar, right?
Yep.
Takes
Toronto dollar.
Takes it to a merchant
Yep.
who accepts Toronto dollars. Mm-hmm. It's also a dollar for a dollar, right?
It's dollar for dollar, but what happens when they buy the dollar is 10% goes to a fund for the community. So you have, it's accepted at par at the merchants. So there's 10% that goes to the community in the form of breakfast programs, homeless shelters, different things that, people that are involved with the Toronto dollar give us suggestions. People apply for these different grants. These are all things that we would hope strengthens our community. So there's kind of a built-in tithing mechanism with the Toronto dollar that only happens with the sale of Toronto dollars. Once that money is automatically siphoned off into an account, it goes there and it's given out in the form of grants. The other 90% of that purchase goes to a reserve fund. So for every Toronto dollar that's circulating, there is a reserve fund, and we bank at the CIBC, and we have a reserve fund there. And CIBC actually does sell Toronto dollars as well, and they've been a great supporter of us at 1 Toronto Street. And I've had the pleasure of working with them, in the last year or so, and they've been super, super supportive.
So the actual revenue from it comes
Yes.
from the merchants who accept it. So
the revenue, the 10% comes from when people cash in their Toronto dollars.
Merchants.
Well, yes, or anybody. If anyone cashes in their Toronto dollar for Canadian, they have to pay that 10%.
I see.
Because the 10% has been given away, and we can't just automatically reinvent that money. That's been a little bit of a challenge for some merchants because some merchants don't have a high margin. And if they're not able to respend it and they need to cash it in, that's a challenge. And that's something that we've been working really hard with. One of the things that we did this year in 2010 is we offered the businesses a lot more promotion. We do, actually we're doing another show today. We do a monthly show where we profile businesses. And that's free for them. They can come on, they talk about their business for 20 minutes. I've also, myself and many other volunteers have been talking to the businesses, bringing them together, because a lot of business owners are very busy with their business. They don't have time to think about stuff. They're just trying to get their business going. So what I do when I go to the market anyways, I talk to them. I kind of say, hey, did you know you could go to the post office and buy your stamps? Oh, I didn't know that. Did you know you could go to Rainbow Cinemas and watch a movie? Oh, no, I didn't do that. So I'm trying to connect the dots for them because they're pretty busy. And they're starting to get the idea that they can spend it other places. Steve Gill, the CEO of Casada, one of the more recent businesses that joined, I encouraged him to go to the market to buy his supplies for his store. And the reason that I brought Steve on, it was, we don't particularly target chains, but it's a small chain in Toronto, and I know from talking to Steve that he's really community focused, and I thought about that quite a bit, and he just seemed like it seemed like the right thing to do, and I've really been pleased because he's not only been involved in the system, we also have a film festival now. He became a sponsor of that film festival, so he's very, very community oriented, and again, that brought him together with some of those businesses that wouldn't have happened if he didn't accept Toronto dollars. So it does bring people together. We just got to be more effective at that.
The decal It goes
Yes.
on the window, goes on the
That's right.
door,
That's right.
and that's a sign that this is a business
That's right.
that is community
Yeah.
conscious.
That's right, and we've got some decals as well. But I think I got to get you a decal for the Bulletin. I haven't got you that, so we're going to have to get you that.
The Bulletin was actually an early
Yes.
adopter of the
Exactly.
of
You
the
probably have an
$200.
old decal, but you don't have the new ones.
Don't
We
have a new
redesigned
one.
them, so we got to get that to you. But we've got most of the decals out to all of the businesses now, and that's made a big difference because, I mean, people have to see it, right? You have to know that the business does accept it. It's really important. And over the years, again, community currencies have this kind of. It's amazing, really, that the Toronto dollar has survived and done as well as it has. It's very difficult for community currencies to compete with a large national currency. It's challenging, but the Toronto dollar has. We've had a very good year last year. We got some wonderful seminars coming up with Tom on the weekend. He's doing 2 seminars actually at the ING building on Sunday. From 1:30 to 3:30.
You're talking about Thomas H. Greco Jr., the
Tom,
the famed economist,
who you just
expert
spoke to.
in community currency.
That's
Yes.
right, and Tom is also going to be doing a seminar on Saturday as well. Same thing. So we're really excited about that. We actually have, speaking of community currencies, Michael Contardi. From Salt Spring Island. He's going to join us via Skype. So we're going to talk about community currencies. Mm-hmm. The purpose of these seminars is, again, to bring the businesses together to openly discuss the Toronto dollar system. Because you and I have had some discussions a bit about the Toronto dollar, and we're wanting to find a model that really works well for them. Maybe the 10% should be 5%. I don't know, maybe that's not really a good model altogether. We have to ask the really hard questions and figure out how Toronto dollar can become this community currency that serves everybody and is really, really effective.
How far has it expanded in the city?
It's expanded. There's a few businesses in Bloor Danforth area that have joined, an organic dessert business, my business, Find a Way. Most of it's centered, in the downtown core. We've got now an accounting firm that's joined, Busy Solutions. We have a very good health and wellness that has joined. Some homeopaths, Yorkdale, he's joined. Ron Elmy, photographer, who runs a great photography business, has been on the show. We're starting to get more and more people. Most of the growth now is centered outside the market. We've managed to get 100% acceptance, which happened at the beginning. With the Toronto dollar, I made a presentation to the board, to the BIA a while ago, and I didn't realize that there was 100% acceptance when the Toronto dollar first started.
Yes,
and
that was thanks to George Carvalho, the manager of the market.
Yeah, but the North Market never accepted it 100%. It was only 4 businesses. Now we have 15. But still, it was 100% in the South Market. We've gotten back to that point, and a significant thing is the wine market accepts it. So you can actually buy wine with Toronto dollars, which is a huge feat. It took a little bit. I had to meet with their head office, and Donna Rankin was great, and Matthew, the general manager there, is awesome. They're really super supportive. They're behind us all the way, and it's just really, really good that all of the merchants actually have come together. They're still like, well, I don't know if, I'm getting some business, but, I'm not so sure. And we're trying to show them that we can be really effective in promoting them. And I think they are starting to get the message. They certainly, coming on the show is great. It's free for them. But there's other ways that we can do it. And we just need to keep on working on that and working together.
Talk about the Mint Film Festival.
Sure.
Tell me about that. What is that?
Well, that was something that I thought about when I was executive director of the Toronto Dollar. So I was the executive director in 2010 from June to December. And it was pretty much a full-time gig. I worked about 4 days. There's the musician language coming in. Mm-hmm. And it was it was a little bit of a challenge because I have my own business, which is a full-time business. So I'm a bit of a workaholic. People that know me know that I like to work. So it was okay. And I felt that the Toronto dollar at that point really needed some help. And so I stepped up. I said to the board, look, there's a lot that needs to be done. Just, hire me. I'll do it. I'll get it done. and I'll try and get this happening. So I tried my best. One of the things that I did with that, I was trying to figure out a way, okay, well, the main thing is most people don't know about the Toronto dollar. Right from the beginning, a lot of people don't understand it, they don't know about it, and therefore they don't use it. And also, it's sometimes hard to get Toronto dollars too, because it's not like you can go to the bank machine. You have to go to the St. Lawrence market to get Toronto dollars.
There was early on talk about being able to get it out of the bank machine. I take it that hasn't.
Well, there was.
That hasn't
there was.
arrived
That
yet.
did happen in 2000. I'm not sure of the date, but there actually was ING, or not ING, Alterna. There was something that happened. Again, I'm really new, so some of the stuff that I say is a little, I don't know all the pieces. I'm trying to piece it all together. I have talks with Joy, and you and different other people. I know a bit, but I don't know everything. But the Alterna, there was a bank machine. It was right at the St. Lawrence Market, and we certainly want to get that happening again. We're working on that. But getting back to the whole film festival.
Back to Mint, yes.
Yeah.
What kind of films do we look forward
the
to?
reason that I created the film festival, the purpose of it was to spread the idea of the Toronto dollar.
So what kind of films are we going to see?
Can I explain a little bit more?
Okay.
So what I wanted to do was, because a lot of people don't know about it, I wanted a film festival, and if we could spread that film festival throughout the city, and people purchase their film ticket in Toronto dollars, that would be a great way of promoting the Toronto dollar. So one of the features of the film festival built right in at the beginning was Toronto dollars. I wanted people to buy their tickets with Toronto dollars. And I wanted the film festival to promote the Toronto dollar, and not only the Toronto dollar, but other organizations as well. So with this film festival, you have Toronto Dollar hosts it. They provide some of the volunteers. But we have people just like the last one that we did. The Transition Toronto comes. They're a host, and they meet in the lobby. So the features of this film festival are, you have a community gathering in the lobby. Mm-hmm. You have a feature screening and a feature short, usually a Toronto director. You have a musician playing in the theater 1 hour before the screening, which is a local musician, to promote local artists. Then at the end of it all, you have a speaker like Tom that talks and has an engaging discussion to inspire people to do something in the community and gives them concrete things. Now getting to the movies. The movies
is what's going to draw them. The Toronto
Absolutely.
dollar is something that's going to be there after.
I think all of these other things draw people. We've almost had a sold-out crowd last night.
Did you?
Yeah, and our first screening was near sold out. People care. People want to do something. They're just overwhelmed. They don't know what to do. What we want to do with the Mint Film Festival is we want to give them the information. But we don't just give them the information. We say, this is what you can do. Here's a guest speaker. Get involved with their organization. Do something. You have power. And that's what it's about. So the first film was Water on the Table, which is Toronto director Liz Marshall. Our film festival, the initial screening was endorsed by Ma Barlow. She wrote a personal message that was in the program. It was delivered to everyone at that. We actually have a program that we hand out to everyone. It's a very, very first-rate kind of film festival. I'm very proud of it, and I'm proud of what all the volunteers have done with it. The April screening was Earthkeepers, which is a film about a young man on a quest to try and figure out how he can save the planet. And he goes to all of these environmental visionaries, and he asks these tough questions, and he figures out answers. You know, a lot of people, I think it's the media too as well. You know, you don't get. It's wonderful that we're having this interview because we can get in depth. You usually go on, a short, like a major media outlet. I would never have the chance to talk about this. I would be cut off, and I would have to do like a one sentence answer. We could not get into the issues. We can get into the issues in this film festival. People can start understanding it, and then they can do something, and that's very exciting for me. I'm really excited about it.
And how long has it been going on?
It's been going on since March. Since March, and
how much are tickets?
Tickets are in advance. They're $8 and $8 for students and seniors, $10 for adults, and at the door it's $12 for everyone. But if you want to save the money, order the ticket in advance, and we make it accessible. These screenings, because we're employing musicians, we're paying directors. There's a big cost factor in there. We have some sponsors which are wonderful that allow us to, present these films. Otherwise, it would be impossible. We are still looking for sponsors. We've had a number of sponsors that have come on, but it's expensive. Tom it's wonderful to get him up, but it's expensive to bring in these guest speakers, and we want to keep the quality up. So we've had a lot of interest, actually.
Yeah, economists are not rich.
Rich in heart. Tom is an economist that's rich in heart. That's why I like him.
Yeah. How many seats can you fill?
It's 176.
Okay.
It's the big theater in Rainbow, so it's a good size. And my goal with the film theater screenings is to sell out every theater screening. We're very close. We've come very close, like maybe 10 tickets away. Next one I want to sell out. It will be on, I'm pretty sure it'll be on The Power of Music, and it will have one of the best vocal groups in the city there. I won't say what name, but people can check the website. I'm very excited about it.
Is it on the website?
Not yet.
No, but it's going to be?
It's going to be.
And what is the website?
The website is www.mintff.org.
Say it again.
www.mintff.org.
Well, Glen Allen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Frank.
It's been a delight. Best of luck with this.
Thank you.
We'll try and do what we can at the Bulletin for you.
Thank you. You've been a great supporter. Thanks.
And thank you.